2-year follow-up endpoints. That's great. The size of the study, so the N. Now, this study had a control group. So there were 276 patients that got the implant and 278 that did not. That's a very large study. And so when we talk about p-values and statistical significance, always make a note of it. How many patients did we need to achieve statistical significance? And in surgery in particular, it's 20, 30, 50, maybe 100. In pharmaceuticals, it can be thousands, like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 patients, just to show like a 5% difference between this and something else. But in surgery with implants, typically it's a much, much lower number. It's less than 100. So to see a study here with over 500 patients, point that out. That's huge. That's strength. You strengthened your paper. So I've got a lot of contributing surgeons, a lot of patients, a very good statistical analysis is about to happen here. So make sure you're pointing all those things out. This paper had a flaw. I want to get there really quickly to bring this to the attention. Let me see where I can find it. It's back here in the results. So it's pointing out that this device actually improved patients' pain and results and less reoperations due to reherniations, but it also says that several patients actually had to be reoperated on, 5 in particular. Okay, so that's actually here. It says, oops, therefore, in 4 patients allocated to the implant was not attempted, 5 patients were unsuccessful. Now, here's the thing. We learned from those 5 that weren't successful, and we changed the technique. And this came back in a 5-year study, and it came back in a more recent study where the authors were noting the change in the training, the change in the technique.
Yep.
And this is where you get to say, hey, we learned some things here. We learned that you have to do it this way. You have to be careful of this angle. You have to be careful of this size. You have to be careful of this patient profile. In this case, it had to do with some osteoporosis and some other indicators. But you can honestly go to your customer that you're in front of right now and say, hey, we learned from this. So you take your flaw and turn it into a feature.
Yep.
Okay. Now, in this paper, they also have something that's super helpful. And if it's there, make sure you touch on it. At the end of this paper, in the discussion section where they're talking about the implications, they also state that when comparing patient outcomes from sites where the principal investigator reported financial relationship with the study sponsor versus those with no relationship, there were no differences in the study conclusions. So among those authors, some of them were being supported and some of them were not. There was no difference between the two. So going back to that thing of financial support and, oh, your company supported it, there can be a lot of things in these papers like that. There's also in the discussion sections, some of those intriguing and unique points that we talked about earlier. Those are all in here and you should find them, highlight them. Now, one thing to note, you are not allowed to give papers, like if you have it printed and you give it to a doctor, it cannot be highlighted. You cannot circle anything. You can't mark it up in any way.
Yep.
But for your own sake and to be effective in those 2 to 3 minutes that you're going to get, you should mark it up. And then what I do is at the top, you can see here, I've written Jason's copy. And they say, hey, can I get a copy of that? And say, actually, as you can see, this is my copy. But yes, I will get you a clean copy. So I've gone in, I've highlighted, I've marked it all up, I've numbered it. I have 7 or 8 things I want to talk about that. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go through until I've hit all 8. Mine's all marked up and it's got my name on it. And so I can say, yes, I'm actually going to get you this paper, but as you can see, this is my copy. I will get you a clean one.
Yep.
And so you don't get yourself in trouble because there are rules against that. You cannot mark them up and then leave behind. That's problematic. So just to review, articulate the question, why did they do this study? What question were they trying to solve? Were the authors of significance? Point them out. What was the purpose of this particular study? State the methods. Why should I believe you? If you sponsored the paper, don't be afraid of that. Summarize the results very quickly and succinctly. Be the one to point out the flaws. Make sure they become features. State the provocative facts. What did they do and why did they do it that way? And were there some interesting patients and did the authors say something interesting in the discussion? And then finally tie it all back. So what? So what?
Yep.
You just spent 2 minutes introducing this, but so what? And the last thing you always want to do, and this is a big miss, when you walk out from this meeting, my only question when we get to the car is going to be this: did you get any commitments out of that surgeon?
Yep.
You took time to present new information, you took time to teach them something, but did you get any commitments for anything? Did they commit to offering your product to a new patient population? Did they agree to go to do more training so they change their site of service? Did you get any commitments to any activity based on those couple minutes where you shared that new information? We said this earlier. Physicians actually do want to see the data.
Yep.
They're not real excited about the way we as med tech reps are presenting it all the time, right? They're not impressed. And so they're giving us the vibe that they don't want to see data, but that's not true. When you do it this way, you will make a tremendous impression. And you'll be surprised at the discussion that you start. It usually turns into a really healthy discussion, and then you
Yep.
can ask for commitment.
Yep.
So this worksheet is free. You guys can reach out to me and ask for it. And then if you want to take the opportunity to go through a paper, like, okay, let's go. Let's get together. Let's break down a paper really quickly and see what you've got. And then go out there and actually use it. Use the papers.
I love that. And again, guys, this is the thing. Me and Jason talk about this off air, just like how willing he is to continue to come in and help you guys. And every time he gets people reaching out, he'll send me a screenshot, and we just love seeing being able to help people. And that's what this has all been about. And so again, like we always tell you, I hope this episode, if you guys are a rep in the industry, and just remember, if you're not a rep in the industry, you will be, and how you could be able to transition and be able to use this as a leverage point as you're going through that interview process of understanding what we always say: do the job to get the job. And if you can understand and be able to talk to certain things, it can help you stand out. So I just hope you guys know how special we are and how lucky we are to have someone so special like Jason to be able to come on this podcast, spend his time to give you guys this valuable tips that he literally gets paid to do, and that he's giving it to you guys free. And then when you guys reach out to him, he actually will get on a call with you. So I really hope you guys do take what he's saying to heart and really utilize the resources, because he is an expert that is able to go, as you guys can see, because I learned several things on that podcast today, and I was taking notes on my phone. So I just hope you guys were taking notes as well, because it's only to help you. So again, Jason, thank you, because that was awesome.
Yeah, and I do want to double down on something you said earlier. I love your audience. The text messages that we get and the DMs we get on LinkedIn that we trade back and forth, I really do appreciate people who are striving to get into this industry. They're working hard, they're hustling. And then the other thing is we're talking to a lot of people who are already in. Like they just
Yes,
broke in and they're starting to learn some stuff, and this is helping them in the field. And they're sending you and me messages like, I did it. So keep sending those
1,000%.
messages. Those are hugely encouraging to both of us, and we love it.
We love it. And this is the thing I always just tell you guys, because the number one thing I've heard, and I actually just had a talk with one of our course members, they're actually going with a giant W-2 company that everybody knows. And then it was actually a distributorship. And then they're like, well, I should, of course, go with the big company because it's got the best. And that was where we had a real honest conversation is, don't get fooled. And I'm not saying that they're not great trainings, but don't get fooled just because somebody has a lot of money and there's a lot of resources that you're going to get this amazing training of being the best sales rep in the world. Because just like anything, they can fall short. Like I have always been transparent, as like my first several weeks in the industry, my field sales trainer was nowhere, right? The person who's supposed to be coaching me in that aspect, right? So the reason I'm just always saying that is because so many people will be like, oh, I only can go to the big dogs and the big companies, and that's the only place I'm going to actually get it. And what you just saw is like Jason's working with medtech startups, with smaller companies, but the training he's giving them is these big companies, I can sit here and tell you, are not teaching what Jason just said. And that's what can help you stand out. And it goes back to my whole reason I'm saying this to you guys is my whole time on this podcast, why we made this podcast is I've always wanted you guys to break in and have the most success. And if you're willing to put in the work and willing to go do it, this is something that can change your life. And if you're willing to put in the time, you can continue to be the best version of you. And that's what Jason is continuing to do here, is being able to show you guys how to actually be really successful at selling, how to actually be able to stand out against other people, and how to have a successful career so you can and go achieve what you want. Because again, like you said, we love getting the messages, but I wanted to state that just because you guys are going to, there's these different companies, don't get in your head that one company is way better than another company because of the sales, right? There's different trainings and different everything. And this is just a perfect example. Like, this is what Jason does for a living. And you can tell that he's a true expert, and having someone as a resource like that, you can see where companies are actually hitting, like we talked about off air, is before they worked with him, weren't hitting quotas. Now they haven't missed since working with him. And so just being able to understand that.
Awesome. All right. Well, blessings, and it was good talking to you. Congratulations
Great
on all
talking
your
to you.
success. Yeah, and blessings to your audience.
Awesome. We will see you guys on the next one. Again, if you guys haven't, press that like and subscribe button. If you guys haven't, please, Jason, real quick, you have a channel. Where can they find you on YouTube?
Elite Execution. Yeah, if you type it in, and then there's a website with links. If you go to eliteexecutionsales.com.
Yeah, so make sure to go check that out, you guys. Again, that pressing the like and subscribe helps us at the podcast. If you can give us a 5-star review, helps us grow this channel. If you guys are really interested in breaking into medical device sales, again, we only allow 5 people into the course. Our average person's breaking in at this current moment in under 10 weeks at 9.8 weeks at $91,000. If you are interested, there's a link down in the description. You can apply for it. We'll get on a call. We can go into more details, answer any questions, and see if it's a good fit for both of us. So I really appreciate you all watching, and I hope you have a great week. Peace.
Success requires insights. Elite execution requires training. Go to www.exsalesconsulting.com/special offers.